Mnuchin says trade negotiations with China are in the final laps. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is heading to Beijing this week for what he called the final laps of trade talks with China. Credit Aaron Schaff, The New York Times. Image Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is heading to Beijing this week for what he called the final laps of trade talks with China. Credit Aaron Schaff, The New York Times by Alan Rappaport, April 28, 2019. 108 Los Angeles. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said on Sunday that trade talks between the United States and China were entering a critical point as an American delegation heads to Beijing this week to try to finalize a long-awaited deal. The United States and China have spent more than a year trying to resolve a trade dispute and reach an agreement that would overhaul the economic relationship between the world's largest economies. Mr. Mnuchin, one of President Trump's lead negotiators, said that while the two sides are closer to an agreement, more work remains to be done, and that the talks are nearing a point where they would either produce a deal or end with no agreement. "We're getting into the final laps," Mr. Mnuchin said in an interview on the sideline of the Milken Institute Global Conference in Los Angeles. Advertisement: The Treasury Secretary is heading to China on Monday with Robert E. Lighthizer, the Trump administration's top trade negotiator, to try to resolve the remaining sticking points between the countries. Chinese officials are expected to come to Washington on May 8 to continue, and possibly conclude, the negotiations. The United States and China have been locked in a trade war for months, exchanging tit-for-tat tariffs on billions of dollars worth of products and rattling global markets.